If you've reached this video, you probably do not believe it, but you are already taking a big step to improve your life. The fact of wanting to improve and progress while wanting to leave the past behind, and above all, knowing how to do it, is already a great change that you are producing from here to the future. It is so important to leave behind the things that do not serve us in our lives, in order to obtain what will do us good from now on. You don't drown by falling into the sea, but by not getting out of it. Perhaps is one of the most important lessons of recent times, for the reason that bad things happen to everyone. It would be a great luck if we all always have the same constant mental well-being, and that bad things did not happen to us. But the reality is quite the opposite. In this life, which is long, we will have good and bad times. So don't feel bad about yourself, because feeling bad shows humanity, and it also shows maturity to overcome those bad experiences and move on. Time is a great cure for all the bad ones, and you will know it well, because you will remember at this moment situations that you have experienced in your life, and that, although it is unbearable, sooner or later you have forgotten it, or the pain is diminished to the point where you can use the memory to reflect. A death, breakup, that person you loved so much has left you for no reason. All those moments of incredible pain, of not being able to sleep at night that torment us even during the day, somehow vanish thanks to the passage of time and the love that God has for us. Because thanks to Him, it is that our sorrows become more bearable, because no one knows more than He how much we are suffering and how we struggle along the way. He wants the opposite. He wants us to always be happy, and that's why He works in our favor. But not only time works to overcome moments of pain. Also, the changes you make in your life drastically change the difference for the better. If you do what you have always done, you will get what you have always got. Go for a walk, dance, show the world that you are alive, and show yourself in the way you know best. Do what you like the most, and always put a smile on any situation. Because the durability of the sufferings will depend on how you react to them, and then reflect. Have I caused this that has happened to me? Am I to blame? Generally, being blinded by a situation, we think that everything is our fault, and that we should martyr ourselves and show the others that we are sorry. But no. Sometimes there are situations that just happen, and the fault may not be to someone in particular. Instead, there are things that should happen inevitably. That is why you should not feel bad about everything. I do not promise you that everything will be fine from now on, nor do I promise you that nothing bad will ever happen to you again, since that would be living in an idyllic world, and that would be something that does not make complete sense at all. There will be moments of weakness in which you will do nothing but cry and pray to God that this whole moment passes. But what you must do is dry your tears and fight with all your might so that everything is resolved and stability returns in your life. From now on, we have to be clearer that I must do this, that I would like to do this. Believe it or not, even if you feel incapable, we can all be responsible for a great change. We have to be the engine to create new directions and new experiences. Do you feel empty? Do you feel that all your days are the same endless routine? Take control of your life and be the first to generate that great change that you need so much, because no one will do it for you. So use that fact and create the life you want for yourself. You know well that you have the intelligence, the strength, and the capacity to live better and be happier. Allow it for yourself. This life is beautiful, and it's no use just concentrating on negative things, because in addition to being beautiful, our life is short. That's why we shouldn't waste a second and go out to fight for our dreams. Do not give up.
What determines your resources? We said decisions shape destiny, which is my focus here. If decisions shape destiny, what determines it is 3 decisions. What are you going to focus on? Right now, you have to decide what you're going to focus on. In this second, consciously or unconsciously, the minute you decide to focus on something, you got to give it a meaning. And whatever that meaning is produces emotion. Is this the end or the beginning? An emotion then creates what we're going to do, or the action. So think about your own life, the decisions that have shaped your destiny. And that sounds really heavy, but in the last 5 or 10 years, 15 years, haven't there been some decisions you've made that if you made a different decision, your life would be completely different? The history of our world is these decisions. When a woman stands up and says, no, I won't go to the back of the bus, she didn't just affect her life. That decision shaped our culture. Or someone standing in front of a tank. Or being in a position like Lance Armstrong and someone says to you, you got testicular cancer. That's pretty tough for any male, especially if you ride a bike. Right? You got it in your brain, you got it in your lungs. But what was his decision of what to focus on? Different than most people. What did it mean? It wasn't the end, it was the beginning. What am I going to do? He goes off and wins 7 championships he never won once before the cancer because he got emotional fitness, psychological strength. That's the difference in human beings that I've seen of the 3 million I've been around. Because that's about my lab. I've had 3 million people from 80 different countries that I've had a chance to interact with over the last 29 years. And after a while, patterns become obvious. You see that South America and Africa maybe connect in a certain way, right? Other people say, oh, that sounds ridiculous. It's simple. So what shaped Lance? What shapes you? 2 invisible forces. Very quickly. 1, state. We all have had times. Have you had a time you did something and after you did it, you thought to yourself, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. That was so stupid. Who's been there? Say aye. Have you ever done something after you do it, you go, that was me. Right? It wasn't your ability, it was your state. I should be able to change that quickly, but what I want to finish with quickly here is your model of the world is what shapes you long term. Your model of the world is the filter. That's what's shaping us. That's what makes people make decisions. When we want to influence somebody, we got to know what already influences them. And it's made up of 3 parts, I believe. First, what's your target? What are you after? Which I believe it's not your desires. You can get your desires and goals, so it's needs we have. I believe there are 6 human needs. Second, once you know what the target that's driving you is, and then you uncover it for the truth, you don't form it, you uncover it. Then you find out what's your map. What's the belief systems that are telling you how to get those needs? Some people think the way to get those needs is destroy the world. Some people is to build something, create something, love someone. And then there's the fuel you pick. So very quickly, 6 needs. Let me tell you what they are. First one, certainty. Now these are not goals or desires. These are universal. Everyone needs certainty that they can avoid pain and at least be comfortable. Now how do you get it? Control everybody, develop a skill, give up, smoke a cigarette. And if you got totally certain, ironically, even though we all need that, like if you're not certain about your health or your children or money, you don't think about much more. You're not sure the ceiling's going to hold up. You're going to listen to any speaker. But while we go for certainty differently, if we get total certainty, we get what? What do you feel if you're certain? You know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. What would you feel? Bored out of your mind. So God, in her infinite wisdom, gave us a second human need, which is uncertainty.
If a win to you is being the greatest dad and husband of all time, then be the greatest dad and husband of all time. And if your number 2 priority is building your business, then it's in second place and it's going to get what it can get. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be really hardcore about second place, but 1, don't value yourself for results. I will tell you right now, all the wins in business that you're ever going to get, all the money in the world, it's powerful, it's amazing, and you will love taking care of your family. But even that was a reorientation back to your true number 1, if I had to guess, which is your family. So be focused on that, right? This is really about my family. If the business isn't working out, if it's not going the way that you want, look, it's going to be lame, it's going to suck, but you're going to have to alter your mind and remind yourself, my number one priority is my family. And what I value myself for on the business side is not accomplishment. It is not success. So decide what your priorities are and don't flinch. Don't be conflicted. Don't try to have my business is as important as my family, and really don't value yourself for accomplishment. It's all about sincere pursuit, okay? You cannot guarantee the success, but you can guarantee the struggle. So you need to extract value from knowing that you left it all out on the field. And that's it. That's all you can do. Greatness is about doing the things that are tragically boring and that you have to repeat over and over and over to get better at them in a deliberate way. You don't just want to repeat them blindly, but in a deliberate way, buckling down and doing the things like, for a musician, playing your scales, practicing your improvisation, practicing your cold reading, all of the things that are very easy to put off when you have a job and you're busy and you're making a living. It's kind of like typing. What they find is most people sort of, their typing rate, if I remember right, it's like 65 to 70 words per minute, is where most people tap out. But I think the record is somewhere around 250 correct words per minute. So if the average person is tapping out around 65, but the delta is all the way between 65 and 250, you begin to see like how far you can really push yourself. But people get to a level that they deem acceptable and they just sort of stop there. But because everybody is being forced to shut down right now, if you're a musician and you're saying, look, I'm not worried about streaming and going live and all of that, which I think there's a whole question to be answered about doing that and about how you could generate even more revenue by going online. But you asked me to set that aside, so I'm going to set that aside. But right now is that chance to embrace a level of boredom that most people are not willing to push through in order to get to greatness. So in a business context, I always tell people boredom kills more entrepreneurs than anything. It kills more entrepreneurs than fear. Most people, they just can't slog through sucking at something and sitting in the discomfort that you get from doing the things that you're not good at long enough to get good at even those things so that you can truly go out and create art. Because I don't think you can create real art until you've mastered the basics to the point where, as Bruce Lee said, you don't think kick, you just kick. And I love that quote. And there's another Bruce Lee idea, which is, I don't fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks. I don't fear the man that does 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man that does one kick 10,000 times. And that is this moment. And if you can take this downtime and let go of how good it feels to perform, I have to imagine a big part of the reason you got into this and that you did all of the work when you were younger to get good is because you love performing so much. But right now, that's basically off the table. So if in this moment you can buckle down, be disciplined, set your sights on something very specific that you want to get good at, disciplined practice at that thing to get good at this. On the other side of this, you're going to be far more extraordinary than you were when you went in because you no longer have the distractions of the actual performance. You can just get down to practicing. So flip that switch in your mind and think all about coming out the other side of this a beast, an absolute monster, better than you went in. And if you can tell yourself that story, I'm committed to this, I'm willing to do these things that other people aren't willing to do, and put in the practice and understand as you're going through that unimaginable boredom, that on the other side of this is a skill set that has utility, then this becomes an extraordinary time. But if you keep telling yourself the story that so many others are telling, which is this is, a time of deprivation, it's just lamenting that you're not able to perform and all the things that made you love music in the first place, then just because you're repeating that, it becomes a dark time. Focus on the other side and you will get through this amazingly.
Google success, see if you get it. Google exposure, see if you get it. You have to be exposed to certain things in order for you to know it. And success is hard. If I try to get my millennials to understand, it take a long time to make a lot of money. Daddy, you making money. I'm 61. It take a long time to make a lot of money. You can't just go make money because you got Google. Let me show you something. When you get on the airplane, you ever notice when you walk on the airplane and you walk past first class, everybody in first class got gray hair? You ever notice that? They all a little up in age. They all 50 and up, especially during the week. Them businessmen, they earn the right. You go in the back, it's young people back there. You back there. You got your iPhone out, you got your headsets on. Them grown-ass men up there got their legs crossed, they got a briefcase out. They trying to figure it out. They trying to make this paper. They in front. But you gotta be exposed to get to first class. You gotta be successful to get to first class. That's why they closed that curtain. See, they can't have your ass in back of that plane with that curtain open. You ain't gonna believe what's going on up there. They bringing out a hot washcloth. You can wash up. They passing out menus. Everybody get hot nuts. You get all you want to drink. You ain't got to pay for the headsets. You get to watch the movies free. You get a choice of what you want to eat. They gotta close that curtain. If you was in the back and they left that curtain on, you'd drive them people crazy. Hey, where my nuts? You don't get no nuts. Hey, how come I just got a half a can of Coke? That's all we giving you. How come these drinks is $5? He done ordered 3 drinks because he paid for first class. The seats is wider. Your knees can't touch the seat in front of you. It can't. The overhead space is plentiful for everybody. That's why they closed the curtain. So what you have to do, you have to expose yourself to things early in life. This is my suggestion. Do whatever you got to do to upgrade to first class. If it's spend a little bit more money, it's sometimes when you buy the coach ticket, when you get at the counter, just ask them, how much is an upgrade? If they say $75, just pay it one time. What happens is, once you sit in that first class seat, you have now been exposed. The game changes now. When you see that there's actually room on each side of you in first class, when you discover that you can slouch in your seat, that your arm does not have to touch the other person's arm, that they're gonna bring you a hot towel, they're gonna give you a menu, they're gonna let you drink all you want. You ain't got to buy the headsets. Once you fly first class, it conditions your mind to look and think for first class opportunities. Once you fly first class, let me explain something to you. Walking past first class gonna be hard. Once you done sat up there, flew a couple hours in first class, walking past them seats will be the hardest walk you make because you've been exposed.
Don't plan too much. Doesn't work. For me, it didn't work, frankly. Don't plan too much your career because what you're going to be facing in life is probably more powerful and much bigger than you ever imagined. So if you're following your plan, you may miss a lot of opportunity coming on the side, but don't even look at them by saying, oh, I need to continue on my plan. Okay? Even though on the side, you're going to have a huge opportunity coming, you don't look at them. So don't plan too much or be flexible on the planning. You're going to have a lot of opportunity, particularly in the period we're getting in, 2010, 2020, I think going to be a lot of transformation coming and there's going to be a lot of opportunity, so be flexible.
But some of these mountains that can be climbed by you and me, it takes a day to get to the top, and then you camp up there and you come down the next day. And on many of these places in Switzerland where you can do that, about halfway up the mountain is what they call the halfway house, halfway up the mountain. So a group of people starts off with a guy in the morning, and about noon, you're kind of tired. You've been walking now for 4 or 5 hours, and you're coming up to the halfway house. And it's just it's a wonderful sight. Because as soon as you enter in the halfway house, you can smell the food, and they're getting ready for a good lunch, and you sit down, there's a fire in the fireplace, and there's nice soft chairs, and you can just rest your body and refresh your body. And
you've got to be very careful as an entrepreneur to be brutally honest with yourself. And those are some of the things that you'll hear from me as a mentor, that know what you know what you don't know, but you've got to know your business better than anybody.
I think the most important is knowing your strengths and weaknesses and knowing what you enjoy doing. If you look at it as a job, you've already lost. It's not going to be your passion, and you're going to count the hours. If you look at it as something you love to do, and then you know what your strengths are, then you can leverage those strengths in your business and in helping others. And once you recognize your weaknesses, then you can work with people that complement you. I mean, every one of my businesses, I've had a partner who's very anal. Martin Woodall, Todd Wagner, incredibly anal people, perfectionists, because I'm a slob. I'm a big picture, think about what's around the corner, how's technology going to change things, how can I change, this industry, and, making sure that there's somebody there to dot the I's, cross the T's, and keep me in the baselines. And recognizing my weaknesses is just as important as recognizing my strengths and my core competencies, and having a passion to do them.
When it seems like suffering won't stop? What do you do when it feels like your pain doesn't have a point? What does it do when it feels like your weakness continues to worsen? Maybe you've taken a knockdown concerning your finances lately. Maybe it's with your kids. Maybe with your marriage. Maybe with your health. Maybe some other arena of life. You're laying on the mat gasping and you don't know what you're going to do. People ask you how you are and you say fine, but you're not fine. And they'll never know that. We're people. We're people, and we struggle, and we suffer, and we bleed, and we cry. If you think that true strength means never showing any weakness, then I'm here to tell you you're wrong. You're wrong because it's the opposite. You're going to get depressed. You're going to have weeks where you don't feel like eating, while gravity is working overtime like it's afraid of getting laid off. You can barely lift your fork to your mouth. You're going to have a choice. You're going to either give up or get up. It's like you have to save your own life.
Hi, welcome back to Mind Control, where we inspire and motivate you. Hope you enjoy the video.
Ronald Reagan, president, said to the joint session of Congress a few weeks ago, "The Republic is a dream. And if we don't keep dreaming, we will lose the Republic." Your better future is a dream for yourself and for your family. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to see? You've got to dream dreams. There's a Bible phrase that says, without dreams and visions, people perish. You've got to have something to go for that inspires the heart and the soul. Dreams. From the children of Sanchez, it says, take the crumbs from starving soldiers, they won't die. Take the bread from hungry children, they won't cry. But without dreams, we all will die. You've got to dream. Don't lose your dreams. For yourself, for your future, for your family. The dreams of love and enterprise and travel and doing things. Becoming something unique on your journey here. Don't lose your dreams. Do some dreaming. That's long-range goals. You've got to have those. So that's number one. Here's the second part of goals, short range. Short-range goals. That's your goals for tomorrow, this week, this month, this year. The immediate future. We call these confidence builders. Because if you set up something short range, go for it, get it, latch onto it, work hard, accomplish it. That starts building your strong feelings to go for your dreams. Now, I've divided goals into 3 categories. Here they are. Number 1 is economic. That's your goals for money, income, business, profits, production. Economics. Make sure you've got your economics well planned. Economics plays a major role in everybody's life. Economics is major, which means it ought to be meticulously well planned for tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, long range. What if you asked somebody tomorrow if you could see their meticulously well planned list of economic goals? What would they probably say? They say, you some kind of a nut? You must be weird. Hey, I found out what success is. Success is doing what the failures won't do. Make sure you've got your economics well planned. It'll put you in the top 5%. One of the key little subjects we talk about on the weekend is the 7 fundamentals for wealth and happiness. And that's one of them, well-planned economics. It's a fundamental if you want to do well. Join the top 5%. Anybody in this room can join the top 5%, if you will. Okay. Now here's the second category of goals, things. Make a list of the things you want. And on my list of things, now I put everything. Little things as well as major things. Doesn't matter how small it is, it goes on my list. I used to just put major things, cars, homes. I don't do that anymore. I now load my list with everything. Everything. And the reason is, part of the fun of having a list is checking it off. That's it. Boy, at the end of the day, if you can go, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, whatever it is, right? You get into the habit. So load up your list, the things you want. Now, when you check off something major, celebrate. That's an important point to make. Celebrate your achievements. Live it up. Have a party when you reach something you've worked for a while. See, we all grow from 2 experiences. One is called the pain of losing. The other one is called the joy of winning. We need both of them. Amplify them as much as you can, which also means make losing painful. If you set up something, fooled around, didn't get it, put it on yourself. On the other side, if you did get it, congratulate yourself. Self-congratulations is a sign of maturity. Seeking congratulations is a sign of immaturity. But hey, winning and losing, see, that's what it's all about. That's the name of the game. Now, some people lead such mediocre lives, at the end of the day, they don't know whether they're winning or losing. They got no clue. Guy's just going through the day with his fingers crossed. There's a better way. Okay, here's the third category of goals, personal development. Put those goals together, personal development goals. That's your goals to be stronger, more decisive, be a speaker, be a leader, learn a language, all kinds of skills. Okay. The whole weekend seminar was designed to improve all your skills so that you walk away more skillful. And that's what you want, the personal development skills. That's what attracts, that's what brings good things to your life, the person you become, more skillful. Now, this is quite a package to work on. Economics, things, personal development. For tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, long range. Okay, that'll get you started. Now, here's the simple formula for setting goals. It goes like this. A, work on your goals. That's step 1. Work on them. And I put the word work there deliberately. Setting goals is plain hard work. I don't want to kid you. We haven't come here tonight to kid each other. It's work. I know it's work. That's why a lot of people just let it slide. It's work. Many people work hard on their job, but they don't work hard on their future. They just let that slide. And the work involved is making plans. I know most people don't. I understand that. But don't let that be you. Guy says, well, yeah, you work where I work, but the time you struggle home, it's late. You got to eat a bite of supper, watch a little TV, get to bed. You can't sit up half the night, plan. And the guy's behind. Good worker, hard worker, sincere. But you got to be better than sincere, working hard. You got to be better than a good worker. You got to be a good planner. Somebody once wisely said, the people who fail to plan are planning to fail. Well said. So work on your goals. Here's step 2. Write your goals down. That's so important. I teach my staff around the world, put your goals in your journal. Because one of the major people you want to study is yourself. Say, here's the list of goals I put together 3 weeks ago. Here's the list of goals I put together 2 years ago. Here's some of the changes I made, rearrangement of my priorities. I scratched these off, I put these on, I've gotten these. Study your accomplishments, study what your desires are. Put them on paper, write them down. Here's another reason for writing your goals down. It shows you're serious about doing better. And to do better, you gotta get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. Everybody hopes things will get better. Everybody hopes. Poor people hope. That ought to tell you something. It means the future does not get better by hope. It gets better by plan. I used to have the affliction called passive hope. It's an affliction. It's bad. Probably what's even worse than that is happy hope. Now that is really bad. That's bad. Happy hope. The guy's 50 and he's broke and he's still smiling. See, that's not good. So get serious about your goals. Put them on paper. Write them down. There's all kinds. His goals, her goals, their goals. Business goals, financial independence goals, family goals. I mean, there's so many things to work on this that if you don't get busy and work on it, sure enough, the time will pass. And sure enough, 5 years from now, you'll wind up where you don't want to be, wearing what you don't want to wear, driving what you don't want to drive, being what you don't want to be. Now's the time to fix it. Now, here's the third step to your goals. Check the size of your goals and the kinds of goals. How big they are, what kind they are, affects you. And here's one of the important phrases of the evening. Your goals are affecting you, whatever they are. Your goals affect your handshake. Your goals affect your attitude, personality. Your goals affect the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress. All day long, we're being affected by our goals.
We'd like to thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Please also like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and families. Please watch our other motivational videos. Thank you again.
I love people of action. I weary of people who get in your face and tell you what all they're doing and actually doing nothing at all. In my life, results count. I'm impressed by results. Don't tell me what you went through. Tell me you got it done. Not hearers of the word only, but doers of the word. God blesses what you do. And see, when you walk with somebody who is a person of action, and you walk with a do-it man, that spirit will leak out on you. Oh, look at somebody and say, do it. Do it. Do it. Don't dream about it. Don't wish for it. Don't hope for it. Don't long for it. Don't cry about it. Get up and do it. Do it with all of your might and with all of your strength and with all of your passion. Somebody holler, do it. I know you've been through hell. I know you had to go through high water. Didn't think you could swim through it. But I also know there's a reason that you went through everything you went through. After this, you're going to come into your promised land. You're going to see why you had to go through this
to get what God is about to do in your life. He didn't take you through that wilderness for nothing. Something good is going to come out of this. You can't let your past destroy your future. You got to get rid of the stuff behind you so you can lay hold to the stuff that's before you. Look at somebody and say, get it off you. I don't know who I'm preaching to, but whoever it is, you're getting ready to go to the next level. You're getting ready to go into a brand new dimension of thinking and living and breathing, and a whole lot of things had to change in your life. But the Lord said, after this, get ready, get ready. Some of you have been standing waiting on God to help you. You better go ahead. Spot somebody and say, do it. You've been praying about it, but it's time to do it. You've been waiting on a sign, but it's time to do it. You've been waiting on God to respond, but he already gave you the answer. Do it.
Give it everything you got. Put your heart in it. Most people, when they're working on dreams, they don't give it everything they have. All you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough. Most people don't do all they can do. Most people go through life holding back. Answer your calling. Whatever you're called to do, don't count yourself out. Don't say, I can't do that. Many of us go through life saying no, and you don't even know what you're saying no to. You don't know what you cannot do if you're not willing to challenge yourself. Whatever it is that you don't know how to do right now, you can learn. I did not know how to speak for major corporations. I didn't know how to do that. But I decided to become a student. If you do your research, if you do your homework, if you make the commitment that I'm going to learn, when you look at what do I have going for me and drop your buckets where you are, decide I'm going to work and get myself together. A guy named Jim Rohn said, if you develop your gifts will take you places that you'll never begin to imagine.
I mean, how bad do you want your goal right now? I think there's a lot of people in the world today, because it's a really niche thing to talk about, I want this is my outcome, this is my goal. Like, how bad do you want? Do you want it as bad as breathing? Do you want it as bad as anything you ever wanted in your life? And if you calibrate it at the highest enough levels, what I found is the people that are the hungriest, they find a way. When you know why you want something, when it's desperation, the power of being desperate is something that most people avoid. They think desperation is a weakness. And I'm here to tell you, desperation is one of the most powerful emotions you could possibly possess, because when you're desperate, you find reserves and reservoirs of ideas, talents, and a strength that you don't know you have when you find yourself in a desperate situation. So ironically, the one thing most people avoid in their life, hunger, which is caused by being desperate. When you're starving, you become desperate. Think of somebody who's starving on the street. How resourceful would you get if your children were literally starving and you had to feed them? So the number one thing we need more than anything to win is hunger, which comes from a state of desperation. Yet we're constantly trying to comfort ourselves in the real world to avoid the state of being desperate. And I'm telling you that I think you need to embrace desperation again in your life. Like, do you want it so bad that you're desperate for it? All of the silly things that happen that we let slow us down is related to our lack of hunger and desperation. And so I'm here to ask you, how desperate are you for what you want? Like, here's what I think. I think most people would just like their goals. They'd like their outcome. They're not hungry for them. They're not starving for it. They're not desperate for it. But when you start to feel that desperation, it's one of the most powerful emotions in the world, because you become so resourceful, you become so determined, and all the noise goes away. See, all of these objections, all of these fears, all of these old stories you tell yourself, all the excuses that you're making, and I love you, so I'm saying this to you, are all going back to a lack of real hunger, real desire, real desperation. Because real desperation is beautiful. The most alive you'll ever feel, ironically, is when you're the most desperate. You talk to people who are the closest to death in an accident, and they'll tell you, ironically, it was the most alive I've ever felt. Because you're so desperate to survive. You're so desperate to get through it. Yet in life, We try to avoid this all the time. And I'm here to tell you, embrace the desperation. Seek the desperation. Show me somebody hungry. I'll take hunger and desire over IQ, over knowledge, over skills every day of the week, because I can teach you skills. I can teach you the lessons. I can teach you the words, but I can't give you heart. I can't give you hunger. I can't give you desire. I can't give you the courage to be desperate, because desperate people look a little funny. Desperate people don't fit in. Desperate people stand out. You see someone desperate, you're like, whoa, what's going on with them? Desperate people get criticism. And most people would rather not stand out. They'd rather not leave the crowd. They'd rather not take the criticism. They'd rather not take the heat. So most people say, I'd love to be a millionaire. I'd love to win. I'd love my dream relationship. I'd love the best body I could have. I'd love to be happier, but I don't want to look bad doing it. I don't want to seem desperate. I don't want to seem different. I don't want to step out of the crowd. And as long as you're one of those people who won't step out, who won't look a little bit funny, who worries more about what other people think about them than truly winning, you're always going to be held back. What's your level of real hunger? What's your level of real desperation? How bad do you really want it? Or would you just like it? Do you need it like you need to breathe? Do you need it like you need to eat? Do you need it like you need to exist? Or do you just kind of want it? Because you show me two people. You show me one person who's desperate and hungry. You show me another one who'd like it or wants it. You show me one person who's willing to look bad and get uncomfortable and color outside the lines and do whatever they got to do to get to their dream. And you show me another one who won't, I'll take this person every day of the week. Maybe they don't come from the perfect background. Maybe they don't have all the perfect words. Maybe they don't have all the right relationships, but they got the goodies, man. They got the one thing you got to have to win, which is hunger and desire and some heart. And I know you've heard these things before, but now I want you to be self-aware. Really, how hungry are you? What are you doing to feed your hunger? What are you doing to feed the fact that you feel like you're starving? Because the more you want something, the lack of it makes you more and more hungry. For example, if I were really hungry and I needed some food, it's one thing to want it. It's another thing, when that food's right in front of me and I'm not allowed to eat it, I become hungry. So the closer you bring what you want to you increases its hunger level. The more repetitious it is, the more you think about it, the more you bring it into your thoughts over and over and over again, the hungrier you get. That's why repetitive thought about what you want is so critical. So evaluate that. Am I as hungry as I could be? Am I as starving as I could be? Do I want it so bad I'm desperate for it? Or would I just like it? Would I hope for it? The greatest athletes, the Kobes, the Bradys, the Jordans of sports, have a way of feeding their hunger all the time and increasing it. What separates them isn't just their work ethic, isn't just their talent, although those things matter, isn't just they practice more. What separates them is they're just hungrier. They somehow find a way as they climb up the ranks and win championships to get even hungrier for more, where 99% of the athletes lose just a little bit of their edge once they get that first championship, that first pro contract, that first big amount of money, that first world championship. They just lose their hunger a little bit. And then there's the elite. They get hungrier. It feeds the beast. For some of you, have you been hungrier in the past? Let's be honest. And have you lost a little of that hunger where you're just not quite as desperate as you used to be? And so it's feeding your desperation. And the way we do that is we feed it to ourselves over and over again because it becomes something we must have. We have to have it like we gotta eat, like we gotta breathe. Feed the hunger, feed the desperation, embrace it. Don't try to look so pretty, because this desperate state eliminates all the things that hold you back. Your fears, your worries, what you don't know, what the obstacles are, signs, haters, lack of information, lack of blah, blah, blah. It all goes away when you're hungry.